Today I'm doing something a bit different to my normal videos and looking at this old keyboard that I inherited from my grandfather. I've set myself the task of recording a folk song using just the sounds of this keyboard, but first we'll have a look at some of its features and what it can do. The model number is the Casitone CT-450. It has 12 melody sounds, 12 preset rhythms, and what Casio calls super drums. It's a typical amateur keyboard from the early 80s. The idea is that you play a melody with the right hand and use the rhythms and the single finger chord system to accompany it. Although it says pulse code modulation quite prominently on the control panel, this only applies to the drums. The melody sounds are all synthesized. Casio calls it vowel consonant synthesis, but I haven't been able to find much information on how it works. According to Wikipedia, it's a hybrid digital analog process, and it seems to involve filtering square waves, but to my ears it sounds pretty similar to the FM synthesis that was typical in that era. So here are some of the sounds. The piano, the violin, flute, the electric guitar, and what they call the synth sound, which is a bit of an odd name considering that they're all synth sounds. Now obviously none of them sound anything like the instrument they claim to represent, but I actually think quite a few of them are nice sounds in their own right, and I can see myself using them in some of my other videos, although probably with some real instruments to go with them. But the point of this video is to produce a song using just this keyboard. As there aren't really any good bass sounds on it, we'll have to use the rhythm section to get an accompaniment. There are 12 basic rhythms, but each one has 5 parameters that can be set using the super drums section. So if I start a rhythm playing, I can adjust it using the controls. The fifth control is for the bass and chord, and this is where the one-finger chord system comes in. If I play a G, we get an accompaniment in G major, and again we have 3 different options of how we'd like that to sound. Another interesting feature is that there are actually connectors on the back panel for drum pads, so if you don't like any of the built-in rhythms, you can play your own. But I don't have the drum pads, so we're going to have to stick to the built-in rhythms for this video. For my arrangement, I've chosen the Riddle Song, also known as I Gave My Love a Cherry. This has a slight complication in that some of the chords change in the middle of the bar. If I try to play that on the Rock 1 rhythm, for example, you can hear that it doesn't really work. The only rhythm that seems to work well with chords changing in the middle of the bar is the march, but I don't like any of the drum patterns that go with that rhythm. Fortunately, the keyboard actually has the ability to adjust the volume of the chords and the drums independently, and you can even silence either of them. So I'll use this to record the chords from the march rhythm and the drums from Rock 1, and then multi-track a melody and some other parts on top. I think you'll agree that the arrangement isn't going to win any awards for originality or quality, but it gives you an idea of what this sort of keyboard can do, so I hope you enjoy it.